2018, they got $1.1 billion acquisition. And then 2019 and 2021, they acquired 5 or 6 different companies. I think most of these are addressed, the workflow specifically is definitely addressed with the companies that they acquired.
Growing a business requires a holistic approach that extends beyond sales and marketing. This approach needs alignment among people, processes, and technologies. So if you're a business owner, operations, or finance leader looking to learn growth strategies from your peers and competitors, you're tuned into the right podcast. Welcome to the WBS Podcast, where scalable growth using business systems is our #1 priority. Now, here is your host, Sam Gupta.
Hey everyone, welcome back to another episode of the WBS Podcast. I'm Sam Gupta, your host and principal consultant at independent ERP and digital transformation consulting firm Elevate IQ. Do you know an e-commerce platform that is designed for enterprise-grade websites? Do you know an e-commerce platform that is primarily designed for B2C experiences with the ability to build composable experiences? Do you know an e-commerce platform that is .NET based? Do you know an e-commerce platform that can accommodate up to 5 rules to provide personalized experiences through deterministic identity? Do you know an e-commerce platform that has support for GraphQL? If you have guessed Sitecore, then you are right. In today's episode, we invited a panel of industry experts for a live discussion on LinkedIn to conduct an independent review of Sitecore's capabilities. We covered many grounds, including its unique position in the market with B2C companies and its strengths in all layers of commerce, from content to experience management to commerce. Finally, we discussed how the layers of deterministic identity work with CDP platforms and why that is important for the personalized experience in the B2C market. With that, let's get to the conversation. Hello, everyone. Welcome to today's show. And if you're joining for the first time, this is part of our e-commerce series for which we meet every Wednesday at 5:30 p.m. Eastern. And we review one vendor or the solution from the e-commerce technology space. And for today, we have a very interesting solution called Sitecore. So we are going to have a lot of fun discussing that. Before we do that, we are going to start with everybody's intros. I am going to start with my intro. If you don't know me, I'm Sam Gupta, your host and principal consultant at Elevate IQ. Elevate IQ is the independent e-commerce ERP digital transformation consulting firm. On that note, I am going to move to Robert for his intro.
Hi, Robert Brown from Robert Brown E-commerce Consultancy. I specialize in small to medium-sized B2C and D2C companies and help them move forward in this crazy world.
Amazing. Thank you so much for being here, Robert. And if you're in the audience and joining for the first time, make sure you guys send your questions and comments. We typically try to cover them towards the tail end of the show. If you run out of time, we'll make sure that you guys are going to receive your answers. So, Robert, I am going to provide quick brief into where these guys fit overall in the value chain and a little comparison in terms of where they are overall in their journey. And then we can take your commentary based on whatever experiences you have had with this solution. So Sitecore is very interesting, and its name is Sitecore, but I don't know how mainstream they are going to be, at least in the e-commerce space. There are businesses that are really going to know them just because they must be in that ecosystem. That's why they sort of like them. So overall, if we go back to our segmentation, Robert, between your SMB to enterprise. So obviously this is going to be very enterprise-y solution, which would mean multiple websites, multiple brands under one solution. That's our sort of definition overall in terms of the size. The other segmentation that I like to discuss is going to be the language. And in my mind, that plays a big role overall. The language that the platform is built upon, because obviously the customers that are going to utilize any sort of enterprise grade platform, they need to have extremely deep IT capabilities if they are going to be on Sitecore. Now, Sitecore is probably the only solution I believe is on .NET. I don't know how many different platforms are there, but they have tight correlation with Microsoft in .NET. So they are going to be with any industries that Microsoft likes to go after. That's where Sitecore is going to be extremely handy. Overall, in their journey, when I look at the tech stack and architecture, I am actually excited based on what they have done. Okay, so overall, from the tech framework perspective, they seem to have GraphQL capabilities. I don't know if we have seen anybody having GraphQL capabilities so far that is going to be demoable. A lot of people are talking about it, but I have personally not seen a real demo of GraphQL. But these guys actually have that. So that's a big deal. In general, other companies are sort of trying to get there, but they are not there. Even the headless vendors. The other segmentation I'm going to have is these guys are headless, even though headless vendors are probably going to question their headless capabilities. But the way their architecture is done, it seems that they probably have those capabilities. Now, the next segmentation is going to be B2B versus B2C. In my mind, these guys are very B2C centric platform. In fact, the way their architecture and go to market strategies built, they seem to be almost app server optimizedly of the B2C space. That's how I am reading them. The way their product bundling is, they like to call it as an. It's very similar to the way your HubSpot is going to do or Salesforce is going to do. So these guys are dividing their product into three different portfolio, and they call it as content to commerce platform. So you have the content cloud, the experience cloud, and the commerce cloud. And overall, if you look at the whole bundle, it's just mind blowing the way their capabilities are, how deep you could get into the B2C space and the kind of capabilities you are going to require in the B2C space. So, Robert, I'm actually going to pause there. Share whatever commentary you have related to your experience, and obviously critical commentary on my assessment.
Sure. So, tossing out some names that people may know. So, they've got FIS.
Yeah.
They've got Big Lots. They've got Chick-fil-A. They've got Rust-Oleum. They've got American Honda. They've got Con Ed. Let's see who else. Subway, HomeServe, a couple of hospitals, AXA Insurance.
Yeah.
So they are across a couple of different verticals, like Formica and Fujitsu.
Yeah.
Fulton Bank. So they are strongly in B2C, and they've got some B2B work going on here. So who is it? Not Little Caesars. It's the other big pizza place.
Yeah.
They use it for their. It's more B2B. It's all their franchisees to log in and do orders through them as well. So I think I've had an opportunity to play with them with a couple of clients, and the functionality that they have here that is native to the system, that you don't have to bolt on from some third party, is pretty amazing. Now I've seen some of the reviews that we can talk about later, and I have definite opinions about those reviews.
Yeah. So it's going to be really interesting to go over those. But in your mind, when you are thinking B2B, so you are considering the franchise business as B2B as well. Now, that could be a different sort of B2B. I kind of agree with you that that's probably going to be a little B2B there. But I think, we saw this business model in the case of VTEX as well. And I don't know if you remember VTEX, they were very deep into the franchise business model. In my mind, that is still very retail. because you have the consumer traffic coming in, and we don't know at this point of time, okay, how these companies are utilizing, let's say, the platform. Sometimes they might have their division segmented into B2C and B2B. For B2C, they might use this platform. For B2B, they might use something else. That's always a possibility with the enterprise accounts.
Right. So the one I was thinking of, it's Papa John's, and it's specifically for their franchisees to order their supplies from the mothership.
Yeah.
So, that's a straight B2B play right there. It's not, like a drop ship kind of thing.
Yeah, and sometimes, with the enterprise accounts, I think one of the factors that we cannot ignore is going to be sometimes these enterprise accounts are going to build pretty much everything from scratch. Okay,
Yep.
so for them, they are probably not really a good indicator in terms of what they have done with a tool. If they are going to develop everything from scratch, they can probably develop in some language. They probably don't need an e-commerce platform. So typically for us, the right accounts that I personally like to compare are going to be the ones that are trying to utilize as much as possible from the platform the more capabilities, and they have done some sort of research of the platform in terms of buy versus build sort of decision making there, right? So I don't know. I mean, so I think let's go over the slides, and then we'll come back to this based on their features as well, because I don't know if I have seen any sort of B2B features in the platform itself. In fact, there was a commentary that even in case of B2C, you are probably going to end up building a lot of features. There's not going to be anything that is going to be available like what you're going to find in case of Shopify or BigCommerce. So obviously, you are going to require a lot of heavy lifting overall from the development perspective. So let's look at this. So here they are saying the Sitecore, and the way they have positioned this as customer experience management company that provides web content management. Obviously, content management is going to be a big piece, and Sitecore obviously is a very enterprise grade CMS platform. And they are trying to define it as multi-channel marketing automation software. But I have seen even in the demos that they are trying to integrate with Salesforce marketing as well. So they might have their own journey builder, but they are definitely partnering with Salesforce in the best of breed scenario. So I don't know where to draw the line, but these guys seem to have a little bit of marketing automation capabilities as well. Now, the company was started in Denmark, so it's probably going to have a little European taste there. And then they are saying Sitecore was spun off as a separate business entity that initially sold content management system in the Danish market. So that's where they started. Then we have some more evolution here. Sitecore acquired the development team and the intellectual property of Pectora, I guess, right? The provider of web publishing solution. So that was some sort of deep integration with print-based projects. So I don't know why they would do that. To be honest, I don't know what they were doing in 2011. That seems to be a very interesting acquisition right there. Then they are saying in 2013, Sitecore acquired the assets of the commerce server.net from Smith and took responsibility and ownership for developing, marketing, and selling Sitecore Commerce Server, formerly a Microsoft product called Microsoft Commerce Server. So, Robert, I don't know if you have any sort of background in the Microsoft ecosystem. Seems like they acquired this from Microsoft. That's how it reads right now when I read this line. But Microsoft does have the commerce solution as of today. I know that a lot of Microsoft installations are probably going to see Sitecore because .NET, easy marriage. But here, there seems to be some relation. Do you have any sort of background in terms of what's going on with Microsoft relationship there, Robert?
No, I have no background in that. I've only worked in a couple of .NET shops, and they're very hardcore. Once they get there, that's what they want.
Exactly. And was the primary factor for evaluating Sitecore, was it just .NET, or were there any other factors?
The folks that I was talking to, it was because it was .NET.
Okay, and what
you
were
already have a development team that's .NET, and they know the product that you're working with. It just makes it so much simpler to use a tool that just fits right in.
Exactly. And who were the competitors? Do you remember by any chance? Did they explore any competitors, or Sitecore? Decision done.
So we had done some we had done a first level evaluation, and it really came down to them.
Interesting. Okay. Okay. So maybe competitors were on different languages, and that could be the reason, I
Yep.
guess. Because
Yep.
I don't know any other platform that is built on .NET. There are some, I guess, but I don't know if they are mainstream e-commerce vendors. Uh, I know a couple that are built on top of ERP, but they are not necessarily an e-commerce platform in my mind. Okay, so some more history here. So Sitecore acquired majority stake in Comfo, a Danish social media marketing community engagement application provider. So this is where they got some sort of social flavor there as well. So it has a little bit of collaboration flavor that we see in a lot of different ERP systems. By the way, the background of CEO, there's going to be a little comment here on the CEO as well. The CEO has a very interesting background. He comes from Infor as well as SAP, and obviously he has a little European background there as well. So that's a very interesting mix. So I don't know if they are going after these large ERP installations because they all are going to be .NET based. The majority of the ERP platforms, you talk about SAP, you talk about Infor, Epicor, obviously Microsoft, they all are going to be very, very, very .NET based. So, there is a little play there, I guess. I don't know if they are
Yeah.
going
So
after.
some of the .NET platforms, you may or may not have heard of them: Sitefinity, Kentco, Umbraco, DNN, Vitro Commerce, and Nope Commerce.
Kentco, I guess, is the only one that is familiar. I don't know how many installations they have, to be honest, how big they are. Do you know if any of them are big enough?
I do not think that they're big enough for an enterprise.
Yeah, I would guess so. Or sometimes, they might have 3 installations. They might still be talking, enterprise accounts. There are some players who literally have like 3 accounts and they somehow got into Walmart or something like that, and they are still surviving just because of that a couple of accounts.
Right.
That's always a possibility. Yeah. So here we have some more history here. In 2015, a portion of Sitecore's operations moved to somewhere in California, I guess. That's where they probably got the US foothold. Then I don't know if I have anything major here. They have been acquiring a lot since 2021. The most interesting part about this platform that I found is they also received the valuation of over $1 billion. And not just valuation, I guess they got funding over $1 billion. That is just mind blowing that every single e-commerce platform is actually receiving either the valuation of over $1 billion or they are receiving $1 billion funding, which is just phenomenal. And obviously, Sitecore has a lot of value add in my mind, especially when I look at the customer data platform. Okay, customer data platform, your SAP is going to have, your Microsoft is going to have, your Salesforce is going to have, and there might be some best of breed players, but then you are going to be worrying about the integration. So how many players are there that can do the real customer data platform for the B2C vendors? And that's where, in my mind, the real advantage is. And that could be the reason why they have received so much funding.
Yep. Yeah, this is a unique take on the e-commerce platform by bundling all of these customer data based tools, which is necessary when you look at the actual roles, like a VP of e-commerce or a head of e-commerce. Really what their role is marketing. And when you think about what you need to be effective in marketing, you need all that data.
Exactly. And by the way, when we are talking about, so if you are simply talking about data, obviously you can have, tons of data. But when it comes to identifying your customers before you sort of know them, that's where CDP is really powerful. And that's why Salesforce is obviously so hot. In the commerce space, SAP Hybris was so hot because of CDP. And typically with CDP, if you're talking about B2C accounts, they are trying to personalize before you are going to tell me, Robert, that you are Robert Brown. I need to know much before that. Whenever you are going to be taking any sort of action, I am trying to correlate. Okay, so now Robert has taken one action on my account. If I know anybody else in my database who may have taken similar action, can I show similar offering to Robert? Most likely Robert is going to like. And that is the kind of deterministic identity that we are talking about at the CDP level. I don't think Sitecore is going to be as sophisticated as what Salesforce or SAP can do. Their algorithm is going to be far deeper. Here, I think they are doing this at they can do 5 layers of the algorithm. I don't know if they can go deeper than that. So again, it's going to be slightly more mid-market CDP. That's going to be my understanding, but it's a very powerful capability.
Yeah, I mean, you eventually reach a point, if you look at some of the names that we mentioned, they are not household B2C kind of names. And so, they probably have picked Sitecore, and the experience that they're getting and the data that they're getting from that one entity is helping them significantly. But when you get to the upper levels, the upper echelons of, D2C and B2C, you go for best in class, regardless of what the integrations are, because you have the IT team behind you, and when you're missing that piece of data, you're losing sales.
Yeah, could not agree more. Any other commentary, Robert, before we move? Okay, so let's move to the next one. So some more history here on the platform. So here they are saying this is coming. I don't know if this is 2016. We don't have a date. We have one date for 2019. So most likely this one is going to be prior to that. So here, this is the announcement when they had acquired the Style Labs. And this is the creator of Marketing Content Hub platform. In my mind, the comparison is probably going to be either Pardot or HubSpot, or Marketo is probably going to be comparable here. Here they are saying adding Sitelabs platform to Sitecore allows marketing teams to own the entire content life cycle and understand the impact of specific content assets on individual customer behavior. So they were trying to get into this whole mesh of CDP content and how to serve content. Optimizely does a lot of this, but we did not see the actual CDP capabilities with them. And again, in the B2B, they were targeted for B2B. So in the case of B2B, when you already know somebody, then personalization, sure, it might matter, but not as much. Okay, personalization is really tough in the B2C space when you don't know who is coming to your site. So that's where I personally like Sitecore a lot, and that's why I believe the real differentiator for Sitecore and the real strength of Sitecore is going to be in those B2C verticals where you are going to have tons and tons of visitors who have not provided their identity, and then you have to personalize. Talk about really giant apparel brand when people are shopping for dresses, and then you need to show the right dresses, or they are out, talking to your competitors. Now here we have some more commentary here. Capabilities of Sitecore and Sitelabs solve this content crisis, and they have used some very specific names here. I have not even seen these acronyms before with a lot of other platforms. So here they are talking, obviously DEM is very common. They are talking about marketing resource management. Marketing resource management is a very unique term. So sometimes people might think that that's probably your DEM, but I don't know how they sort of define the marketing resource management. PIM is going to be there with most e-commerce platform. And then we have the Sitecore Experience Cloud enables marketing department and create and optimize volume of assets needed to treat the customers and as individual. So in your perspective, Robert, when you look at marketing resource management, how would you describe? Do you have any sort of experience in terms of what they might have as part of marketing resource management here with Sitecore?
So I haven't heard that term used in that way. But what it is, they're talking about content planning, production, and publication.
Yeah.
So it's the entire stream of your content. So it's a planning tool like Hootsuite, where you're going to have a calendar, you're going to have your content in various stages of readiness, and you're just going to start publishing it through and picking out the dates and the channels that it's going to go on, and that's where we're going to go.
So you are thinking more of the workflow and the life cycle of content tool that you can collaborate, among your marketing counterparts, and then you can schedule. And if you need to sort of make any changes, obviously you can do that as well. That's what you're thinking, right?
Yeah. So reading on their site, Sitecore's marketing resource management connect with the platform that meets all your marketing resource management needs. Sitecore's marketing resource management, part of Sitecore's content hub, helps organize campaigns and content production. Plan and schedule marketing activities, even complex multi-layer ones, align your marketing team's processes, effectiveness, and outcomes, empower marketing operations management and support their success, offer each team member tailored features that address their unique roles, streamline collaboration between internal and external teams.
So that sounds like project management tool in my mind, and that's what I was thinking when I read the marketing resource management term, to be honest.
Yep.
Uh,
So yeah, it's a marketing project management tool.
exactly. That's how I would describe it. Yeah. Awesome. So here we have some more announcement here in 2019. So here they are saying it has completed its acquisition of Hedgehog development and customer and partner focused digital consultancy. So seems like they acquired their own partner. Now, that's always a very tricky situation. So I don't know what their distribution model is. Overall, from the tool perspective, I know that there are a ton of partners and the certified developers. In fact, in reviews, they have claimed that you need to be working with Sitecore certified developers, and there are big giant consulting firms that are actually consulting on Sitecore. So obviously they have a partner ecosystem here they have acquired. So I don't know what's going on. Maybe they wanted to develop their own internal capabilities along with the partner channel. But this is a very interesting acquisition.
Going back to the MRM, one of the things that they've rolled into this, aside from just the PM piece, is also the user management and rights management. So it's offer each team member tailored features that address their unique roles. So you're going to create users, you're going to assign them roles, and you're going to ensure that they have access to the modules that they're supposed to.
And when you say users, are these
employees,
the marketing team members, right?
Yeah.
That's what so again, that would fall under the project management piece, because user could mean a lot of different things. Sometimes that could mean the visitors on the site.
Well, so when I think project management, there's two ways to think about that. There's the calendar, which is a very high level project management.
I agree.
So then there's the workflows piece of it, which is a deeper layer, and then there's the rights management piece of it. So what you're actually doing is you're going into a much deeper level of project management than many people are used to doing in some of these companies, because now what it looks like you're doing is you're controlling who gets what work, when they get it, and the amount of effort that's assigned to that particular task or set of tasks or those deliverables, and being able to follow up on it. And that's a much more complex PM tool than just, say, Asana or Monday or Basecamp, or MS Project. This has got a few more threads running through it.
I completely agree, and it's going to be flavored, really designed for marketers for their workflow. You are going to have the right insights and the use cases. So obviously that's huge in my mind. And by the way, see, you are getting the full suite. It's not just the project management. You are good at getting everything that you need as a marketer, which is a big value add for me.
Now it's important here, I think, for people going to consider this tool is, what tools do you currently use? What will this eliminate and streamline for you in terms of ease of process and moving forward? And I think that's a big one, because I agree. Having managed a lot of maintenance kind of efforts and standard marketing kind of efforts, it's fly by the seat of your pants, and it's like managed by Post-it notes and emails and knocking on doors and phone calls. And this probably streamlines that a little bit.
I completely agree. Awesome. So if you don't have any other commentary, let's cover some more slides here. So here, this is one more acquisition, I guess. This was for Box Ever, a SaaS-based CDP. So this is where they got CDP, providing decisioning and experimentation, and 451 Incorporation, a company delivering modern B2B and B2C experiences for enterprise brands. So I think this is where they got, this is probably the optimized version of your experience management, and this is probably going to be comparable to your Bloomreach as well. And they are saying these acquisitions arrive following Sitecore's unveiling of 1.2 billion with a B, investment plan to fund aggressive growth plans. So again, this is very comparable to what SAP is doing. So, they have done some master acquisitions here. And if I remember correctly, I think Optimizely had an executive from SAP as well, and they probably have the similar strategy there, and that's the reason why they ended up rebranding, API Server to Optimize Lead. Robert, I don't know if you remember that or not, but that's my recollection that they got somebody from SAP. So whoever is coming from SAP, they all are going after CDP and the experience management platform.
Yep.
And here we have some more commentary here. This is going to be content to commerce. That's the category. SaaS-based DXP is how they are trying to define. Then they are saying 451's API first, headless e-commerce solution. Enterprises can quickly and easily deliver engaging shopping experiences, helping improve customer satisfaction, loyalty, and advocacy. And when we were looking at these headless platforms, we didn't know where their destination is going to be. And I don't know who is the investor in Sitecore, to be honest. Okay, so I don't know where they are getting this money from and how many accounts they have. But this seems to be a massive company, because if they have 1.2 billion, investment plan, I have no idea who's investing in this. But this seems to have real bright future here for this company, I guess.
Well, I will say this, that whoever wrote this for them is obviously playing meeting bingo, because it's got a lot of buzzwords.
Yeah, but I mean, $1.2 billion is not buzzword. I mean, that's a real money that's sitting right there.
Yeah, I agree with you.
So somebody is investing in this company, which is wonderful. Typically you are going to see these large investment only with SAP, Salesforce. So, Sitecore is kind of big. Now, here they are saying, Sitecore today announced that it has secured backing from a large scale growth plan fueled by $1.2 billion investment. This is the same, and the CEO is actually coming from SAP as well as Infor. He used to be VP at Infor. So obviously they sort of know this market very well. And now they are saying Sitecore provides a fantastic platform and invaluable partner for the global Formica organization, starting from our website redesign project, which began in 2000. And I don't know if you have any sort of history on Formica. I don't know who they are, to be honest. And they are saying e-commerce strategy leveraging Sitecore platform, which allowed us to. So I think that seems to be a customer that they are talking about here. Robert, if you do any research on Formica, obviously we can cover that. Some more commentary here. They are saying headquarter moves and a SaaS-based marketing automation. So this is where they got marketing automation capabilities. This is going to be very similar to your Pardot and HubSpot. So they are saying, which is part of Sitecore's ambitious ongoing 1.2 billion growth plan. Okay, so they got a lot in that money. Will complement Sitecore's. Yeah, go ahead.
That came from a private equity firm out of Sweden called EQT.
EQT is a big one. They are like top 10. And they have Acumatica in their portfolio. They have IFS in their portfolio. So now we know where the money is coming from. And they all are .NET-based ERP systems. EQT, and they don't have Anaplan. Anaplan is with Thama Bravo. So obviously anything that is going to be your private equity based, they are the ones who have a lot of money and they can create these massive movements in the industry. So now we sort of know the backing. Thank you so much, Robert, for that.
Yep.
Okay, so this is Moose and cloud native API first and modular marketing automation platform. Okay, so here Sitecore, the global leader in digital experience management software today, announced the acquisition of San Mateo-based Reflexion and AI-powered digital search platform. This is really big as well. Overall, I don't know how many vendors have that capabilities, but EQT is trying to poke something here. That we need to know what they are trying to do, but they are definitely aligning all of the companies in their portfolio, and Sitecore is probably going to be a big one. I'm super excited about this one now. So these are three different buckets that they have. They call it as Content Cloud, Engagement Cloud, as well as the Commerce Cloud, and they are trying to define it as Content to Commerce. Now, this is the architecture, but this is one of the most complex ones that we have seen so far. Yes, a lot of best of breed headless vendors have spoken about this architecture, but I don't know how many people really understand how this architecture works, especially when you talk about those CDP capabilities. Everything is going to be around the customer data platform, and this is where Salesforce really shines when you are going to be building that common identity. And that's why, I think SAP acquired a company called Gigya, that was really into this whole identity management. It was a giant acquisition. I think they must have paid billions and billions of dollars for GigJam, if I remember correctly. And the only reason why they had acquired is because of this deterministic identity, and Sitecore can do that. So super exciting what they are able to do here. Some more things overall from the microservices perspective. Here they are saying price, inventory, as well as risk. I have personally not seen risk anywhere else so far in terms of the microservices. The only time I see risk is going to be with companies like Oracle. Even in the ERP world, risk as a service or risk as a modular capability is only going to be with the solution that are targeting either insurance, financials, or healthcare. Those are the organizations that are probably going to be requiring that. We have seen this in the case of SAP as well. SAP does a lot of things from the risk perspective because any of the solutions that are going to be targeted in the European market needs to comply with GDPR, and GDPR at the enterprise level is a very different problem than you are going to have at the SMB level, where you are going to have just one checkbox on your side and that's a GDPR is done. That's not how GDPR is supposed to be done at the enterprise level, because you have a large, everybody sort of watching you. Even if you have minor leak in the personalized information, you are probably going to be in trouble. So you need the GDPR capabilities built at the platform level. And we saw that, in the case of, if I remember, SAP Commerce Cloud or SAP Hybris, they had GDPR built as part of the platform.
And given who some of their clients are, like AXA and a number of hospitals, it makes complete sense that they have risk there.
Exactly. And I don't know what Oracle is going to do in the new world, because obviously companies need some sort of e-commerce platform. So now Oracle Commerce is gone, ATG is gone. Now they are targeting healthcare, they target financial services, but Oracle is going to be in Java, but this is going to be on .NET. So that's a very interesting play. I don't know, how this is going to play out, but this is very interesting, I guess.
I think Larry's going to go on a shopping spree and buy somebody.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I am thinking. Now, do you want to guess who that is going to be, Robert? No? Okay. Too early, I guess, right?
Maybe if we could get in on the conversations between Elon and Larry, because they have a lot of them, maybe we could just be the fly on the wall.
Yeah. But Elon does not own any sort of e-commerce companies right now, so I don't know what can be done there.
Just offering his perspective.
Yeah. That's probably going to be very interesting. Okay, so some more concepts here, which I personally found very interesting the way these guys have done. So they are trying to define the whole customer persona and the data objects. They are looking at the session as well as activity level. Okay, that is the data model that I have personally not seen in any other platform so far. So this is a very different data model. The way the data model is designed, it's really designed for those B2C companies. So here you have the contact center, you have the interaction, and they are trying all of that. And then the ML recommender, again, a lot of people are talking about AI ML capabilities, but when you combine that with your CDP, that's where the real power is in the headless architecture in my mind.
And if you actually take a look at this model and realize what that means, some people are going to go, "Ooh, wow, this looks really great." Speed. How fast does that have to be? Because they have to be able to account for example, a user on mobile and that is on maybe 2 or 3G, not 5G in a city, and they have to be able to get that data, process it, run out to their different databases, pull that in, synthesize it, and come up with recommendations, and then push that out to the customer who is on this slower network, still within a couple of seconds.
Exactly. I completely agree. Thank you so much for those details. So let's cover some more points. So this is the data layer that I was talking about. Here you have layers at the guest level. So a lot of e-commerce platform, when you're looking at SMB, sometimes even enterprise, the only thing they can identify is, okay, I'm going to have a guest object. I think we saw that in case of Elasticsearch, that they had the guest object as the separate object. But here, underneath guest, you have the session as a separate object, events as a separate object. And now these events are actually going to feed in your microservices architecture, and you are going to be making a lot of actions, especially personalized content based on that. So that's where the real power is, if you really think about how this whole thing is going to play out. And the real power in my mind is still going to be in the B2C space. B2B, sure, you can do a lot as well, but B2C, is where the real play is, because you are doing this for a guest. You don't even know them, and you are able to do a lot more personalization. That's where the real power is, and that's what they are trying to say here. A guest can have multiple sessions. Sessions have multiple events. A guest can have multiple orders. Orders can have multiple items. So that's where, in my mind, that's where the big differentiator is. Some more comments here. This is the deterministic identity that I was talking about. So they are doing based on email address, loyalty program number, unique business identifier, whatever is available. They are trying to correlate and show different composable commerce experiences to these users. So CDP plus the composable commerce, again, that's very powerful notion, especially in the B2C space. What else do we have? If the guest provides enough to match based on the identity rules, CDP migrates their current browsing data to existing guest profile, and they are doing a lot of conversion as well. If they have sort of figured out that, okay, this is probably Robert, then obviously I need to tie that interaction or the session to Robert's history, so that in next time Robert is going to come, Robert is not going to feel that I did not account for that session. So again, they are doing a lot more intelligence in the background to be able to tie the session as soon as they have figured out, no, even though Robert has not told me that this is Robert, but I have figured out, and I am going to tie this with Robert's identity, and then going to track based on what Robert had told me before in the previous session. So these are the 5 rules. I would think that SAP and Salesforce probably can do a lot. So again, depending upon your use case, what you are trying to do in terms of your marketing creativity, you might want to explore a little bit there. How many layers do you want in the deterministic identity algorithm that you are going to set for your visitors? So this is the mind map. And again, there are very different layers here in this mind map, in my mind. There are things that are very unique to this platform. And again, that's going to be your segment, the events, the identifiers, the sessions, the orders. Those are very unique. Again, when we reviewed Salesforce data model, it was not very apparent. They were doing a lot of things similar to what Optimizely was doing. But this is where, they have really shown the power of the platform, what is possible in this one. So I really like what Sitecore has. This is the validation algo that they have. So obviously they are going to have similar capabilities as we saw in the case of your Oracle Commerce, but this is far deeper. Here they are also trying to validate before they publish. So again, that's a huge element when you are going to have a lot of collaboration between different teams, and you are literally picking the pieces and pushing to different sides. In my mind, that's very powerful. In general, not a lot of enterprise platforms can really support these capabilities. So obviously, it's a very powerful CMS. This is the personalized experience, but the layout and the look and feel is very similar to your Optimizely. The way this is laid out, you just have 2 variants pop-ups, one pop-up to one audience, second pop-up to second audience. Here, one thing that I did not see is the audience builder. And the reason could be because probably they don't need audience builder because you are using CDP. So typically the legacy platform are going to be using the audience builder. Okay, age group this, taste this, preference this, show this pop-up. Now, in my mind, I think that's a very legacy way of doing things. Here, you are tying this with CDP, and that's what makes it very powerful, because you don't need to have these predefined algorithms to be able to serve your content. You are serving based on the real insight that you are getting as the visitor is walking to your site. Now, the whole content hierarchy is very powerful as well, the way they have done, and they have very powerful capabilities here, even in terms of the deployment. So they have SFMC, tenant, data access endpoints, pipeline batches, pipelines, tenant settings, value mapping sets, and again, this shows the power of the kind of deployment pipelines that you are going to have, because obviously you're going to have multiple streams, very many developers that are going to be working on many different changes, probably a team of 50 or 100, or that's how big these teams are going to be. So obviously you need to push a lot of changes and the features. So that's where your continuous deployment is going to be super powerful, and seems like they have this inbuilt. You don't have to use a third party continuous deployment platform. Again, in my mind, that's very powerful Everything is done from e-commerce perspective. This is the journey builder. Now, this journey builder is going to be very similar to your Salesforce journey builder, and I don't know, this probably they integrate with the Salesforce marketing platform as well. But seems like, again, when you combine the power of CDP, combine the power of the journey builder, and obviously the content platform as well, that's where the real power is. And here you are not serving the content to bunch of personas in an existing account when you know everything about that account. Okay, that's a very different experience than when you just don't know anything about the person who's coming to your site, and then you need to serve the content. That's where the real power is in my mind. Here, this is the personalized composability, and this is how the composability is going to work. That you are able to visualize the changes the way you are compiling this. Whatever pop-up you want, whatever composable experience you want based on the customer journey. These are not predefined journeys. These are really the real journeys as your visitors are going to be. Sometimes you are not going to know, what they are going to like, but you are sort of doing the correlation based on whatever steps that these guys are trying to take. In my mind, that's the very powerful AI ML capabilities where you don't have anything predefined. You are simply deciding based on, okay, you take one action, then I am going to decide what the next action is going to be based on that, what I am going to show you in. Again, that's very powerful in general. Robert, do you have comment, or I should jump onto the reviews?
No, let's go ahead and jump on the reviews. I mean, I love the fact that this is the ability to have it so personalized, and it just, I love it when sites provide that capability. And this is the first time we've actually reviewed a site that has this level of capability.
Yeah, exactly. And that's what I'm just blown away. And that's probably the reason why EQT is investing so much money. Because again, if you talk about these capabilities, the only companies I know personally are only going to be your Salesforce, SAPs of the world. Those have these really deep capabilities in correlating data across the channels.
Yep.
Here, then we are talking about Sitecore integration and deployment require highly specialized technical skills and cannot be handled by anyone directly without training. To pricing, obviously, you probably require a lot more depth here. So you need to work with the experts. This is not really designed for your SMBs. You probably need far more qualified people who understand business, who understand marketing, as well as technology, obviously. They are saying higher side when compared to other similar platforms available in the market. Free training, Sitecore has a steep learning curve, requires proper training for the end users to comfortably start utilizing all the time. And I think the other user has disagreed with this particular user. So there is a little disagreement among the reviews as well. Some people are liking it, some people are not. But in general, any enterprise platform is probably going to require training. So go easy on yourself. That this is probably going to be complex.
The more complex, the more capabilities a platform has, the more unique features, the more training you need. And usually they're building it so fast that any documentation, any training that has been created is probably going to be behind where they are this day. And so I think what you end up having is users that make those negative comments have probably never gone through something like this before, are not used to being made uncomfortable and having to learn a new platform from scratch with really poor guidance. Unfortunately, it's the nature of the beast. And that's when, quite frankly, the program or project manager failed. They probably should have had some expert training sessions set up, not from Sitecore, but from third-party people that have actually used this extensively and can come in and do like 1 or 2 day workshops.
Yeah, could not agree more. Great comment. So some more comments on the reviews here. They are saying website A/B testing, building landing pages, and building and designing content on the website. The best part is having multi-sites for different languages. Obviously, that is going to be there, and that sort of proves that this is going to be an enterprise platform. Here, one more comment. At times, does require coding language, HTML, CSS. Okay, obviously, that's given. Okay, any enterprise platform, if you don't even know HTML and CSS, good luck, with that. Then you are probably going to be working with, consulting companies who sort of know. But in this particular case, you probably require extensive .NET background as well. not just HTML and CSS.
No, from marketing perspective, no, you wouldn't be required to know .NET. I think this is a marketing user that's saying this. And if you're in marketing and you don't know basic HTML and CSS, shame on you. Honestly, shame on you.
Most of them know these days, but I still come across a lot of marketers who don't know that, to be honest. Okay.
And I'm raising the flag right now that if you are in marketing and you don't know basic HTML or CSS, shame on you, and you should just go over to the LinkedIn learning pages or any one of the others and just start learning it, because quite frankly, it will make you better at your job.
Yeah, I completely agree, and it'll make you better to recognize how much effort is required in building, and probably you'll be far more qualified to work with developers.
And then you won't have to, and then you won't be complaining when you have to wait for IT, because you can just do it yourself.
Exactly. No, but I mean, okay, so here's the problem. Okay, just because you know how to do the plumbing, it does not mean that you should never hire a plumber. Okay, a plumber does that for living on a daily basis. They have seen every single curveballs. So you are learning so that you can work with plumbers easily. Okay,
right.
You do not try to be a plumber.
Yeah. So what this is talking about, so I'm differentiating. So you absolutely need your development team to do the .NET work. Absolutely. But if you're pushing out quick campaigns and want to do a quick modification for, say, an A/B test,
yeah,
then you should know the HTML and CSS. So if you're doing an A/B test, like my button placement should be here or here, okay, just modify the HTML and the CSS to make that happen.
That's a great differentiation, by the way. Thank you so much, Robert, for that. Okay, some more comments here, and then we can open up for the open commentary. We have 7 minutes right now. So the user is saying best CMS product, and this company is in the healthcare, health, wellness, and fitness. In my mind, that's very B2C play, and that's why I think this is the right fit. It has 1,000 to 5,000 employees. Again, good size. Here they are saying implementations have been multi-business unit implementations, where the business unit across the whole organization uses this. Then implementing it is very expensive from a software and development point of view. And you are so right. Yes, it is going to be expensive, but you are getting capabilities that are going to be enterprise grade. You can do a lot of things here. You can make a lot of money, but obviously you need to invest as well. So here they are saying Sitecore Experience Manager does not work well in Google Chrome. And this is not the only review that we have seen that complain this one. Okay, so it works really well with Firefox. It does not work as well with Chrome, which is very interesting. And that's where your .NET and Microsoft Google fight is probably going to be there. There's going to be a little rivalry that they are probably making sure that Sitecore does not work well in Chrome. So good luck with that.
And what's really sad is I still know some companies that actually require their employees to use like IE or Edge.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and I don't have any answer there. Sorry.
And the IT excuse for that is security.
Yeah, that's too much IT in my mind. Yeah, too much IT. Okay, so some more comments here. We have had trouble scheduling publications, which is sort of a shock for me, because I would think that they would be good at this, but maybe they are not really good into the workflow capabilities. The price falls more to the premium side of things, which is true. Integration of our leads with Salesforce.com. So they are using Salesforce and helps to streamline the process. However, it was very expensive to implement and maintain. Now, one more commentary here. So here, this is the UBM PLC. These are event services, B2C, great play, 1,000 to 5,000 employees, wonderful. That's the right fit. Our team uses Sitecore for all our website content management needs, build lead generation forms, product promotion, event pages. And again, if you are the event services company, obviously you need far deeper capabilities there. Almost every day.
Yeah. I would completely discount this particular review because it's from 2017. And that's pre $1 billion investment and the acquisition of like 6 other companies.
Right. And so which are the elements that you are not agreeing? Do you want to highlight those?
It's not so much the elements that specifically that I'm agreeing with or disagreeing. I'm just saying that it's a whole different beast than it was in 2017. I mean,
I
we can go back and we can look at the fact that in 2019, 2018, they got that 1.1 billion dollar acquisition, and then in 2019 and 2021 they acquired 5 or 6 different companies. I think most of these are addressed. The workflow specifically is definitely addressed with the companies that they acquired.
So let's go back to the workflow.
I wish Sitecore had better staging and publishing options. I wish the current version we unable to preview a post before it goes live. Video embedded widget can be a little wonky. Sitecore does not work well with Google Chrome. Okay, not a deal breaker, but a little annoying. E-commerce can be a bit challenging if you are looking to sell products from your website and don't have an in-house IT team. You may need to consider a more plug-and-play option. That's a true statement at this size.
Yeah, so I can see where you are coming from, Robert. So I think you are saying that, the workflow, at least the publishing workflow, they must have because of the new acquisitions. Google Chrome issues, I would suggest do research on that, okay? Yep. Because a lot of people have identified, and I don't know if acquisitions are going to solve that problem. Video embed widget, I would say do a little research there as well. I can probably see why that would be happening. Again, when you are going to have conflict between Microsoft, Google, .NET, Java, that's a very interesting play that you will not know unless you are in the technology world. So do research there. There could be a real possibility that there are some real challenges. But you could be right as well, Robert, that, maybe, the acquisition must have solved these issues.
Like I think the next one on the next page, Sitecore, you have to dig for the gold, but the gold is there. Virtually nothing comes out of the box, and you need to develop every component and do so within a defined process and framework, which can be fairly big development overhead.
Yeah.
I think at this size e-commerce solution, I think that's a fair statement across any of them.
Yeah, I agree. I completely agree with you. Yeah, I completely agree.
On the next one, you need to have strong Sitecore certified developers. Well, I would require that anyway.
Yeah, exactly. This is not your Shopify, okay? This is not your BigCommerce. If you are SMB, go for Shopify.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't put a Salesforce developer on this. It's like if I'm doing Salesforce, I wouldn't want a Shopify developer on it. It's like, that's just what I believe to be common sense in IT and development at this size.
Exactly. I completely agree. Any more comments, Robert?
No.
Okay, let's do some free flow commentary and look at the comment from audience as well, if you have anything here. Yeah, we don't have a ton of comments, so yeah, we'll ignore those. Any final comments, Robert, before we close?
No, I really like this solution, and I think when you are in the enterprise level, mid to large enterprise level, this is definitely something to look for. Actually, I think this is probably small moving into medium-sized enterprise. This is a great solution. If you're medium moving into large or extra large, then you're probably looking at best in class, and this may or may not be the tool for you, because there are a lot of tools out there that do the customer experience, like Adobe has the customer experience manager as well.
Exactly. I think that's where the argument is. So not, the integration is a very tricky play, even though a lot of platforms in the market, they are trying to sell this whole best of breed experience to be easy. But number one, create that integration architecture is very, very hard in general when you are going to have so many different technologies, tools. Best of breed is easy on paper, but developing that, creating that experience, especially when you are going to have the transactional correlation, that could be hard. But in this particular case, in the marketing space, best of breed might work as well. But I completely agree with you that this is going to be for the companies that require that integrated suite. Everything is part of one platform. Integrated, you don't have to invest as much money with the integration.
Yep.
Any more comments, Robert?
Nope, this is great.
All right, guys. So that's it for today. If you joined for the first time, this was part of our e-commerce series for which we meet every Wednesday at 5:30 p.m. Eastern. So make sure you guys are going to be here next week. We are going to come back with another topic. On that note, thanks everyone for tuning in tonight.
Thanks all.
I cannot thank our guests enough for coming on the show, for sharing their knowledge and journey. I always pick up learnings from our guests, and hopefully you learned something new today. If you want to learn more about Robert Brown, head over to rgbecommerce.com. It's rgbecommerce.com. Links and more information will also be available in the show notes. If anything in this podcast resonated with you and your business, you might want to check other related episodes, including the interview with Ben Rudnick, who shares his insights into how companies can increase their revenue by improving the findability and searchability of their product lines. Also, the interview with Colin Cronin, who shares his insights into the evolution of B2B digital e-commerce capabilities for a global medical device manufacturer. Also, don't forget to subscribe and spread the word among folks with similar backgrounds. If you have any questions or comments about the show, please review and rate us on your favorite podcasting platform or DM me on any social channels. I'll try my best to respond personally and make sure you get help. Thank you, and I hope to get you on the next episode of the WBS Podcast.
Thank you for listening to another episode of the WBS Podcast. Be sure to subscribe on your favorite podcasting platform so you never miss an episode. For more information on growth strategies for SMBs using ERP and digital transformation, check out our community at WBS.rocks. We'll see you next time.